is shaking bacon. We are on the Bullhorn Ready True Crime channel this morning because yet again, another felonious copyright strike on the main account, but this time from one of my friends, like my Sebastian. I don't know. Many people don't know that I've went to his course. You know, I've trained under Sebastian and personally know him. And they struck me on a fake account yet again for Sebastian's, the little clips that I put up here from Sebastian. And again, people keep saying that they're not doing things behind the scene, dirty stuff. There's nobody that has had more content stolen from them than Bullhorn Betty. So, you know, this is a dangerous game that's being played here. And I hope people just stop and leave my main account alone. But this, I did want to address a few things because there is that, right? So I did want to address a few things because last night we heard another creator kind of losing her stuff, right? White bread. She's the white racist of YouTube, right? And so she's on there last night talking about how she's obviously very, very highly upset. She went from being a cute little voice talking smack to being angry and screaming. Did you notice that she's screaming now? She's screaming. She's angry. She's an angry piece of bread. She's an angry piece of bread. And she's talking about how I brought this on myself. I don't know who she is. Okay. People need to ask themselves, how did I attract her? Because if you go back to the beginning, I've never said, still to this day, have never said anything about that piece of shit. I haven't said one thing about her. I haven't struck her channel. I haven't done anything. And you guys have watched what that woman has done. She has put out misinformation after misinformation, lies after lies. Let's not forget about the 42 arrests that she proclaims that I had, and she failed to take down that video. So all of her lies and her misrepresentation in videos can stay up for profit. But for some reason, one video I did, over a year and a half, a year ago, that I did over a year ago, she is still complaining about one thing. So she's trying to justify her actions and her behavior and all the problems she's brought on to everybody else through her lies and her obsessive compulsive problems and her mental issues where she can't let things go. And so now her and her team, which is an extension from the woman that I'm suing, right? Because they're all up in my complaint as being elicited for help and continuing to do so. So I'm going to be taking major legal action against this. And people keep thinking they're going to hurt me financially. And this is another thing. Like, she thinks she knows me. She has done little to no research. They, in a litany of the court documents, show all the other baskets of stuff that I get from. And those are things that they know about. Again, this lady has no idea who I am. She has been lying to her audience for 2 solid years about me. Her lies are catching up to her. And now she's very angry and utilizing the copyright strike system as a weapon to try to cause financial damage to me in an effort to help her friend that I'm suing. So we need to start looking at this and really processing it, because to be honest with you, these are false strikes. They're doing underhanded stuff behind the scenes, which is what I have been expressing this entire time. Nobody has stolen more content from anybody than me. So all of these channels that are attacking me could literally be taken down in matters of weeks if I really wanted to start working very hard on it, right? So if I chose to. But what I'm looking at right now is these are false copyright strikes. I believe in the YouTube system. I believe that they are going to rectify the situation. If they do not, we will build a new channel and we will show these animals on YouTube. They will not stop me. They will not stop me, and I will continue to maintain my name, the Bullhorn Betty channel. Bullhorn Betty, Bullhorn Betty, Bullhorn Betty. I will be here. I'm not breaking the rules. They are. And people need to start standing up and speaking up, and I'm asking them to. So every single person, I have never asked you guys to do anything. If you guys see anybody bullying, report it. If you see them misrepresenting, report it. If you see them harassing people, report it. These are things that you guys as the audience can start doing. I'm not asking you to go in and attack somebody and mass strike them frivolously. If you see these things out there on the streets of YouTube, you need to start standing up and doing something. And you know, a few people said, "Oh, I went and striked it for misinformation and this, that, and the other." And I'm like, you know what? It's a waste of time. But you know what? We need a paper trail for YouTube. Okay, we need a paper trail for YouTube. Who are the problem people on here? If you see bullying, if you see an entire channel bullying, you can report the entire channel for bullying. It's time that we take our voices back and we stop this stuff on YouTube. But before that, you know, we're still having a great time. We're not going to let anything take us down. It's almost Christmas. We are happy people. We are religious people, and we believe in the power of prayer and the power of God. And God moves mountains, right? God moves mountains. We are always going to be on the right side of things. We are not going to subject ourselves to the pettiness of these YouTube streets. We're not going to subject ourselves to the childishness of this. We're going to protect ourselves, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep doing the great work that we do. The people that are trying to take it down my channel are evil people, right? They have not done anything for a single person to help them. They have never bought a flyer for a missing person. They've never hung a flyer for a missing person. They never put their hand around the grieving necks of somebody that has lost everything. They've never helped out at soup kitchens. They never even bothered helping a family, even the thousands and thousands upon thousands of dollars they get from this very platform. They have never lifted one finger to help a family, a struggling family this holiday season. Meanwhile, we have done all of those things. And in addition to that, they tried to destroy an 8-year-old's Christmas. And that is, and we still have this. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to Clearwater to drop off the last package for Grayson to make sure that little boy has a wonderful and Merry Christmas. And I'm going to have a wonderful and Merry Christmas despite all this. Because why? Because I know God's got me. I know God's got me. I know that this is just one more thing that we're just going to have to go over, and we'll be triumphant, right? And then at the end of the day, their credibility, their integrity has already been called into question. People are realizing everything was a big hoax. They were lied to for some petty YouTube drama, and at the end of the day, for financial gain. So we're just going to keep going. And I just want to let people know it's not going to affect us. We've set up the memberships. We're going to have memberships over here. We're going to get this channel built up, and we're going to build it up right. And they can keep trying to attack the original channel. The original channel, at the end of this, there's only 1,000 videos on it. So at the end of the day, they're going to have to work through all those videos. And once they're done with them, we'll be fine. We'll still be clear, and we'll still have that channel. I'm not worried about it. At the end of the day, they're wasting a whole lot of time and just putting us through this at Christmas time. Who does that show? What does that show the people here on the streets of YouTube? Who's the real problem? I can guarantee it's no longer Bullhorn Betty. And I think the streets here on YouTube are well aware of that at this point. And I think they're seeing little white bread over there coming unglued because she was screaming. She was angry. She was angry. She was raging last night. White bread was raging. White racist bread. Everybody's a racist except her. She's the only white, middle-aged white woman that's allowed to have a complaint. Nobody else is. She's allowed to lie. Nobody else is. She's allowed to misrepresent. Nobody else is. She's allowed to exploit people for no reason, but nobody else is. So hypocrisy is definitely white bread's craft. Hypocrisy, manipulation, and reverse psychology. So all the thousands of people that want to follow her bullshit. You deserve her. Good morning, the real me too. Bullhorn Betty is present on this beautiful account that has already raised a lot of money. All right, so we're still going to be getting a paycheck not only for January but for February, and I expect that they're probably going to be trying to attack this account next. But they don't do stuff behind the scenes. Remember that they don't go real life. They don't go real life. But taking money out of somebody's pocketbook isn't real life, right? I can't wait to get to the end of this lawsuit. I can't wait. The damage that they have done. And you know what? It's the but for clause. But for her. But for her. None of this would be happening. I just want to put that in perspective. Toshi, good morning. It's nice to see you. Sonia, Who else do we have? Sweet Misery is in the house. She went to bed early to come hang out with us. Michelle Lynn, it's nice to see you. Angela Witt, it's nice to see you. Louise, Mike, Sonia. I think I already said hi to you, Sonia, but that's okay. I'll say hi to you again. Mike is all. I've been watching Lisa, trying to bring Lisa to her senses and try. You can't. These people are so hate filled. They're never going to come to their senses. The only way they're going to come to their senses is just getting away from the hate and then clearing their brain. I mean, really, that's really the only thing that's going to help them at this point, because they're so deluded with lies. They can't figure out what facts and fiction is. And that's the bad thing about YouTube. When you bash somebody, you literally, like, every day, hours on hours on hours on hours, it's brainwashing. It's brainwashing. And these people just, mob mentality. So good luck with that. But I've just learned you got to learn when to hold them and when to fold them. And that's why I just walk away and keep moving on. Cut the ties. Move on. Let's see here. Yeah, she makes bank over your name. So sad. It's not even that. It's just that the mentality of it, the mental illness of her stuff that people aren't taking into consideration. Like, she has been badger. I mean, this is like she's gone overboard. I mean, literally overboard. Like, enough's enough, but she just can't let go because nobody would pay attention to her. Whenever she changes from me, nobody, just like everybody else, that's the problem they have, is once they try to move topics, they try to get away from me, their numbers tank. They can't afford to, because it comes down to finances, not really me. Because if they really wanted to, they could just stop talking, right? I'm not that interesting. But yet they seem to have to find something to talk to me and bash me over the head every single day, whether it's there or not. When you're under a microscope constantly, you're going to find stuff. I guarantee if we put them under, you know what? Maybe after this lawsuit's done, maybe we should put white bread under a microscope. And because at that point, by the time this is all over with, we'll know who she is. So it's like, let's go ahead and figure out what if she's wanting to play these games, then fine. But I'm telling you, it's a losing cause. Just leave me alone and move on. Learn to hold them and know when to hold them and when to fold them. This whole thing about this thing, you think you're going to take me out and cause me financial problems and I'm going to just stop suing Queen Bee. That is intimidation. You understand that in a court case. You can't do it. Dum-dums. And trust me, I'm going to use all of this. Every freaking bit, because it all comes back to the one group. All of it. Every last bit of it. With all these petty YouTube problems with my main channel, those will be resolved eventually, right? We know that eventually those will be resolved. Those will be resolved eventually within the next 6 months, because that's about as much as they're going to be able to do, right? So, and actually really 3 months, right? So not even, I'd say a little over 60 days, right? So we're going to have to deal with this for roughly about 60 days if they continue down this strategy. I hope they just give up and stop. But clearly they're determined to cause financial problems for me in an effort to remove me from a court hearing. And that's what I'm going to say, because we all know where this stuff is generating from. And if not, but for those people, we wouldn't be going through this. So I'm very thankful I'm already in the lawsuit. This can be proven because it's the but for clause. But for their bullshit, but for their campaigns, none of this, and I mean none of this, would be going on for me right now. So they are responsible. I'm going to hold them responsible. And any and all financial issues that are derived by their actions that have caused this, they're going to be held responsible for. And it doesn't matter what kind of attorney you have. Doesn't matter if you pay them $100,000. When you're wrong, you're wrong. Period. And they know it's going to be proven. And they know I'm not backing down. So they're going to be fighting. And they're going to be manipulating. They're going to be utilizing their audience with lies and stuff like that. They're going to say how I lie. Well, it's funny. You know what? I come up here and say I make mistakes all the time. They don't. And they've never taken one video down about me that was proven wrong. Not one. But they're saying that I should. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You do yours first, then I'll do mine, right? Because we know you lied. The proof is in the pudding on that. Racist white bread. And what is more disrespectful? A woman coming to her audience saying that she's indigenous and lying to her audience about her heritage. And then when she's busted as being this white bread girl, she turns around and calls me a racist. But she's the one that has been lying to her audience all this time. I don't know. People need to consider that. And why is she so butthurt over a woman that's never attacked her? Has anybody asked themselves that? Why she engages in this type of stuff? It sounds really mental illness-y to me. It sounds like somebody that can't let go. It sounds to me like somebody that has a chip on their shoulder and is a very miserable person. And now that they're actually having to stand on their own shit and having to deal with people and all of their lies, now they're getting angry and projecting and pointing the finger again. Wow. BT, you are showing your colors now. After last night's display, I know I'm under your skin. And you can try to work and connive and do manipulated shit behind the scenes that you try to convince your audience that you're not doing. But you know I know, don't you? And you know I can prove it in the court of law, don't you? And that's going to be a big problem for you, isn't it? So you can sit there and drag me until the cows come home, but eventually, you know your days are numbered. So why don't you just start moving on and changing the direction of your conversation so you don't have a huge loss? Because these financial problems I'm dealing with, God tells me they're going to hit you 10 times harder. That's what the good book tells me. That's what the good book tells me. So I'm going to pray for you. But I have a feeling that there's some dark storms coming for you, young lady, and I hope you change your wicked ways before they bite you in your ass. Just saying. And we will, and the memberships are coming out too. We're going to convert memberships over here. We'll go back to the memberships over on the main channel once all this shit dies down with their fake strikes and their underhanded stuff that they're doing behind the scenes. Let's not forget that. The stuff that they lie to their audience about and say that they're not doing. They are absolutely doing it. They are absolutely coordinating it. And they're absolutely going to lie to you and say they don't know who's doing this. It's not them, but I guarantee it is, because somebody always has to brag when they're attacking Bullhorn Betty. So it's one of them, but I don't know who's going to step up to the plate and acknowledge it. But either way, we know where it's coming from, don't we? We know what side of the aisle it comes from, and that's all that matters. But for them, none of this would be happening to me. And that's all there enough said about that. So they can lie to their audience all they want and say that I don't have a case. Well, you know what? Clearly I do. And I do plan on fighting it. Now, Queen, if you'd like to settle, I'm open to it, just like I've provided your attorney with a good faith settlement offer that was declined. So I don't think she's told her audience that either. Maybe she did. I don't know. Either way, God bless each and every one of you. Until next time, please be safe and kind to one another, especially in the comment box below. We say no to online bullying. I am getting this done and over with, because actually after all this is said and done, we're going to be balling, because nobody's going to be able to touch us again. We're getting done. We're getting to the end of this nightmare. And I truly believe I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So, and you got to learn to spell. You didn't even spell my name right. And no, I'm not a racist, but you can go back to the racist white bread. She is a racist because she doesn't like white people and actually is ashamed of her own color. But that's not her. It has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing. She's so ashamed of her own skin color that she has to lie to her audience about it. That's pretty sad. That's a woman that has mental problems. She's not even comfortable in her own skin. Me, I'm comfortable. I'll tell whoever to go F themselves if they tell me to F myself. I don't care if you're white, black, green with pink polka dots. You come to me and you treat me with respect, I will treat you with respect till the gals come home. And guess what? It doesn't matter whether you're white, black, or green with pink polka dots. I treat you as you treat me. And if you want to call me a racist for that, then by God, if treating you as you treat me as being a racist, then I guess we have a whole bunch more racists in this world than we know about. Because when I was raised, you treat others as you wish they would treat you, right? So I treat everybody with respect. You come to me with that BS, you're going to get it right back. And I don't really care what color you are or what your ethnicity is. Why? Because I'm not a racist and I treat everybody exactly the same. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But she, on the other hand, looks down on white people. That is the definition of racist. When you treat somebody differently because of the color of their skin. That's the definition of a racist. It's not a symbol that you flash. It's not who you hang out with, which they try to allege. It's how you treat a person and whether you treat them differently because of the color of their skin. And that I have never done. Ever. And if they actually really want to, I can guarantee, I can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I'm not a racist. I could probably prove beyond a reasonable doubt on multiple occasions. But they don't want to research and they don't want the truth. They only want the smear. So we're going to say, stop online bullying. We absolutely denounce it. What they're doing to me in my account is absolutely wrong. And until you guys say, leave me alone, until the audience, the collective people get tired of this and get tired of me being bullied, because let's face it, if I'm off YouTube, who are they going to bully next? Maybe another one of your favorite creators, because they got to have the drama. They got to have somebody to kick off YouTube in order to get their paycheck, right? Because they lie, manipulate, conniving. They're fucking narcissists. Let's be honest with you. And that white bread is a psychopath and a sociopath, if you really want to know about it, in my opinion. Wouldn't want to stand on here on facts like they do, especially when it's just their opinions. Get you in trouble, kind of get you sued. So, good morning, Dixie, Kentucky girl. We're just having it going. We're just having it over here. But I just want to make sure that I'm vocal and let everybody know that they're still doing dirty stuff behind the scenes that they tell their audience that they're not doing. So now we have people watching my house, posting that cops have been here. We have people calling in swatting calls. And we have somebody actively engaging in trying to dismantle my channel in an effort to kick me out of a lawsuit. This is an act of intimidation, and I'm going to treat it as such. And I'm going to treat it as such because but for them, none of this would be going on. If they did not incite they are the gun, their audience are the bullet, and I am the target. And that is the way it is, period. And that will be argued. It will be litigated. And I can guarantee no matter what, I will be successful on one of my 6 claims. So she's screwed. She can lie to you guys all she wants. She's screwed. Just tell them the truth. Burnt Toast, tell your audience the truth. I demand you telling them the truth because you've been lying to them. Tell them the truth. You can't. You won't. Why? Why? Burnt Toast? I'm calling you out. Why will you not tell your audience the truth? You act like I brought this on myself. How did you get in my crawl? Who contacted you? Was it a political party like the Democrat Party of Manatee County? Why don't you tell them the fucking truth about how all this started, Burnt Toast, instead of lying to them? You won't, because you're a big fat liar. You got major problems, and you keep lying to your audience. Time for me to leave for church. Church. You animals are saved by the bell. God bless. Take care. And forgive me for my foul language. I earned it. Seriously? Raging? Oh, honey. No, I'm not raging. I'm pissed. Pissed and raging are 2 totally different things. But I think you and your people, they're going to be raging. And I think the reason why BT is so angry and raging on her live last night. Oh my God! Right? She was screaming it. She was screaming. That was raging. I think the reason why she's raging is because I think she just realized that she just stepped all up in the poo-poo. And so now she's trying to find ways to financially harm me because she just realized she stepped up all in the poo-poo. Well, honey, you can take my channels, but I do have other sources of income, which you know about, including other social media platforms. And honey, you did this to yourself. That's all I got to say. When all this is said and done, you did it to yourself. So that's from me to you. You can just stop and move on. We won't expect you to because you're too much of a sociopath, narcissist, and psychopath that you're never going to be able to leave me go. You're never going to let me go because if you can't have me, nobody can. And that to me is very sick and twisted.